Keep in mind, these are my thoughts and views, so viewer discretion is advised. Rahu is a malefic planet, so much of its interpretation shouldn't be so positive. Astrologers will either sell you positivity because it's a marketing tactic to make you spend your money. It's either that or they just simply haven't studied Rahu or the North Node placement to understand things to its core. Rahu in the seventh house is a real important placement to learn when seeing it in someone's birth chart. If I see it in the seventh house, then I know someone is getting married or engaged in this lifetime. Shoots, I would know that someone will get engaged or married more than once in his or her lifetime. Now, allow for me to discuss. Rahu represents things that are unusual, uncommon, not normal, unconventional, rebellious, but all in a bad way. The unusual energy that Rahu brings is so bad that we tried our hardest to get away from it. Our only focus becomes about trying to figure out why is it so bad. Whereas the seventh house is about things like how drawn our people are towards you, people as in strangers, because it is opposite the first house. The first house represents you, so opposite yourself would have to be everybody else that you do not know. Additionally, no houses in the birth chart represents strangers, so it has got to be the seventh house. The seventh house represents marriage, your spouse, fiance. I think this house even describes your wedding ceremony. It represents business partnerships, business partners. I think even the human resources that you get involved with. The seventh house represents legal contracts, etc. When you put Rahu in the seventh house, Rahu easily describes your spouse's personality traits and appearance. Another thing, whenever I say spouse, I mean fiance as well, and vice versa. Rahu represents foreign, exotic, and things we aren't accustomed to seeing. So, different nationalities, ethnicities, and race, which means your spouse will be of a different ethnicity, obviously. Most of the time, Rahu can make your spouse look attractive due to the foreign element it brings. This foreign element is very diverse, which means the type of person you marry won't be limited. For example, in Israel, Israelis probably prefer Jews to only marry Jews. If you have this Rahu placement, then you would be the Jew or Israeli that will most likely do differently. I say most likely because Rahu can still make you marry someone of the same nationality, maybe even religion, but there is something different about them compared to the culture of the country or USA state you were born into. Let's say an Israeli Jew with this Rahu placement would perhaps marry another Israeli Jew that may be unorthodox. The Jew could be of a dual citizenship. This is why it's so hard to pinpoint exactly what Rahu will cause, because Rahu will give everyone different experiences. Rahu in the seventh house is another placement that increases the chances of you marrying someone of a different race, which may put you in an interracial marriage. I recommend testing this out on charts of people you personally know that are in interracial marriages. This Rahu represents things that are bad. So when it comes to your spouse's appearance, he or she can look weird instead of attractive. Weird as they may have full body tattoos, full body piercings. They can be emo. I'm a moon in Aquarius, guys, so I'm open minded, whereas others aren't so open minded. So if they see someone that has these things, they may think of it as bad. Use Travis Barker as an example of what the weird may look like, because Kourtney Kardashian has a Rahu and Saturn conjunction in her seventh house. On the flip side, they could easily be attractive. So a guy with this can marry an IG model. You know, the models with BBLs? Trust me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. NBA players marry those types of women all the time. If you look at it from that perspective, I don't think Rahu in the seventh house is a bad placement. Rahu plays a big role in influencing your spouse's personality, because this placement, unlike others, will automatically make you the complete opposite of your spouse from a personality perspective. Rahu represents unusual and weird things that are so bad, so your spouse basically becomes the human embodiment of Rahu, which makes your spouse be someone that's bad and rebellious, at least for sure towards you. Rahu shows who snakes us, cheats us, lies on our name, so oftentimes your spouse will lie to you. This will happen a lot actually, which may make you realize none of your spouses are like anybody you have ever dated, regardless of how your fifth house is situated. Your spouse will not only lie a lot to you, but lie a lot about who they are as a person. This is the illusion or camouflage effect that Rahu brings. So you start thinking to yourself, I can't believe this is who I got engaged to. My friends and family were right. Your spouse can often treat you bad, so you'll be gaslighting yourself. You would go on Reddit or online forums and blogs asking strangers, is this normal for a spouse to be treating his or her wife slash husband like this? You'll observe other marriages and might even watch Real Housewives of Atlanta to see if your marriage operates like a functional one. You will come to the conclusion that your marriage isn't traditional whatsoever. Your marriage is unconventional because your spouse will be of a different cultural background, remember? Different views or beliefs collide is what causes wars to happen. Wars in different countries. But your spouse will more so have the bad beliefs. You wouldn't be the problem in the marriage exactly, unless you have other placements influencing this house. Your spouse can even be an alcoholic or a serious smoker. Rahu in the seventh house is an easy cheating placement to see in a birth chart. If you have this Rahu placement, it may be you doing the cheating, or more so your spouse will. And when I say cheating, I mean cheating in the marriage, to be specific. Since your spouse is the human embodiment of Rahu, so they have the cheating energy. Overall, cheating will be involved into your marriage. Rahu could be conjunct any planet and the cheating element won't go away. You could cheat as well because you will get bored of marriage fast. You will get bored of your spouse, even if Rahu is conjunct Venus. So you will try being promiscuous. Then your spouse acts so unusual that you would try getting away from your spouse. This bad energy your spouse carries is what leads to a divorce, separation, or you cheating. Keep in mind though, it is more so your spouse you should be worried about when it comes to cheating. The cheating can cause for you to be in an open marriage as well. So those swinging or cuckold marriages where a guy doesn't mind seeing or knowing his wife is having sex with other guys, it's actually a fetish nowadays. Now let's say you are divorced. You will try or end up married and engaging again, simply because you will have a clouded reality of what marriages really are. When your first marriage ends up unsuccessful, you would be like, no way, anything like that can ever happen again. You will try to get married again because your focus or obsession will be about why was my previous marriage so bad? You say to yourself, what can I do differently? But there is no running from what Rahu will cause. So your next spouse is gonna be bad too. Bad in ways I won't specifically know. Others would know though. People from the outside looking in. Shoots, you might be attracted to the crazy energy Rahu brings. It would take a while for you to realize when your marriage is crazy though. I know astrology very well, so I would be able to predict a lot of things in your marriage, even the cheating. I forgot to add your wedding ceremony is done unconventional or in a rebellious way. For example, some family cultures are about getting a big marriage with the big wedding ceremonies, inviting family and friends, etc. Whereas someone with Rahu in the seventh house can just go to Las Vegas and get married. Get married with no audience. May not even dress up or anything and just sign the contract. This placement of Rahu can make someone marry another person that is of the same gender, so a woman with this placement can, or I shouldn't say can, I should say has an increased chance of marrying another woman. The traditional formality of marriage is a man and a woman in unison. Rahu can cause the opposite outside of society's norms. Let's move away from me talking about marriages. The seventh house represents legal contracts, business partnerships, endorsements, sponsorships, brand deals, etc. If you have this Rahu placement, you gotta pay close attention to any contract you are offered or sign. The cheating and snaking energy Rahu brings will happen in your contracts. So you will be lied to by business partners, human resource managers. Then you sign a contract that you didn't understand because Rahu is that flash or illusion. Everything looks and seems beautiful at first, but boy, let's say you're a musician with this getting ready to sign a record label deal. Don't just have lawyers reading the contracts. You must become active in the negotiation process by asking questions and stuff. Take things slowly whenever you have to negotiate things involving contracts. If you ever have business partners, like sharing ownership of a company or a deal, maybe the contracts Rahu involved can go beyond just business operations, but even copyright deals, etc. Your business partners will obviously be of a different ethnicity, but they are likely to try and cheat you in business dealings. The seventh house shows how strangers interact with us, especially in person. You will interact with a lot of people that are of a different ethnicity and races. People that work in the tourism industry can have Rahu in the seventh house. An issue is you have a tendency to attract strangers that are bad and would lie to you or lie a lot to you. These strangers may be legit criminals and you wouldn't even know, which is why you gotta be cautious with who you interact with, because strangers won't have your best interest with this Rahu placement. On the flip side, this is kinda a popularity placement because when interacting with strangers and people of different ethnicities so much, it can indicate you being someone that is well known. You don't think Shaquille O'Neal has strangers of a different ethnicity walking up to him? I don't know if this is a foreign settlement placement. Anyways, follow me on the other apps. There will be more videos to come.